Hello, everyone. March Madness is here. It's live from Jackson, Tennessee on the campus of Union University and on Fred DeLay Gymnasium's David Blackstock Court. Hello, everyone. I'm Steve Beverly, and it is great to have you with us for the NCAA Division II Women's South Regionals, and this is where the rubber meets the road, and now you're going to see which one of these teams today and out of the 4 games is going to narrow the field down. Across America, 64 teams are vying for the opportunity to go to the eventual Elite 8. And it is going to be a dandy today, at least on some of them, we certainly hope. Our opening game is between the Lee Lady Flames and Benedict College, and it should be one in which you have contrasting styles of play. Marty Rowe brings his Lee team in with a 24-7 record. They were the number 3 seed in the Women's South Regionals. Benedict is number 6, 23-7 on the season, but they won the SIAC tournament last weekend. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for both of these teams, and we'll start with Lee University. Julia Duncan, who averages about 10 a game, and Julia is one of these that can do anything with a basketball. She's from Tullahoma, Tennessee. Hallie Hughes, tremendous rebounder, has a variety of skills. She's averaging 11 a game. Cameron Grant, and she's only averaging 5 a game, but let me tell you, this young lady has a tremendous amount of ability. She has 18 block shots on the season. Hannah Garrett, she's averaging 10 a game. Hannah comes from Jamestown, Tennessee, a transfer from Tennessee Tech. And then you have Haley Schubert, and she's the one that is the go-to player for this team. Haley averaging 17 a game and 4 rebounds, and she has on the season 72 steals and 100. The one thing that you have to look at, she has 102 assists. She does everything well. Let's go to Benedict. Here's who they're going to bring to the floor. Jasmine Golson. Jasmine averaging 5 a game, but she's strong as far as her ability to dish the ball off. Wakira Johnson-Kelly. She's averaging 13 points a game and 100 assists on the season. Ayanna Bay, she's another one that's averaging 8 a game on the season, but she has a tremendous ability on the inside, 28 block shots. Cameron Bostic, averaging 9 a game and 7 rebounds. She crashes the boards quite well. And Taylor Christmas, she's averaging 4 points a game, but she'll be shuttling in and out with a couple of others that you're going to be seeing, Shanessa White as well as Keandra Archie. And those are your starters for today's game. And we hope you're going to stay with us all the way through. We'll be with you probably until close to 10 o'clock tonight because there will be games at 2:30, 5 and 7:30. Union University, the host team, comes in as the number 1 seed and the number 1 ranked team in Women's Division II in America. But when it comes to this tournament, anything can happen, and that's not a cliche because these teams come in here playing with house money, and as you've seen in some of the conference tournaments in Division I, a lot of teams come in as the favorite, and they don't go away as one. So it could be a huge one today. But number 3 and number 6 are here and ready to go. And let's see the starting lineups as they're introduced. players for today's game. Marty Rowe, the head coach, the veteran for Lee University, was an outstanding NAIA coach and got the job at Lee, and he has continued the tradition. A multi-talented team. James Rice, who took Benedict to the SIAC Tournament Championship, knocking off the number one seed in the tournament, Savannah State, which will be playing against Union University in the 5 o'clock game this afternoon. Marty talking with one of the officials before we get started today. And glad to have you aboard at the noon hour, saying hello to all of the parents, siblings, and all of the family members who couldn't make the trip to Jackson, Tennessee, and we're glad to be able to bring you the opportunity to see your family member right here live from Fred DeLay Gymnasium. And to jump it, it is going to be Cameron Grant, and she will jump it against Bostic. It's Cameron against Cameron, and it is the ladies in purple with the tip. This is a team that is relentless in the way it pursues the basket. And that one over the head of the post player, trying to get it on the inside to Bostic, and so it goes out of bounds, and Lee will play it. This team will play outstanding defense, but this is the give-and-go play that's what a bread and butter. The foul is called. Duncan draws the foul, and it's charged to Taylor Christmas. And it's in the act of shooting, so it will send Julia Duncan to the line from Tullahoma, Tennessee, went to Tullahoma High, a 5'10 sophomore. A little bit short, but this Lee team is very strong from the free throw line, averaging 76% for the season. Benedict, 73%. And she nails the second one, and we're on the board. Lee with a 1-0 lead. This Benedict team averages 73 points a game, and they hold their opponents to 64. From the outside, it's not there, but they go for the offensive board. High off the glass and the foul. And Johnson Kelly making a tremendous, just absolutely pursuit of the basket there, and she'll go to the line for two. And the foul was charged to Julia Duncan. And Johnson Kelly gets the first basket of the game for Benedict. She's a 5'6 senior from Franklinville, New Jersey. And nails the second one to give Benedict the lead. Here at the noon hour, with both of these teams being from out of the city, not a huge crowd here, but you're still hearing both these benches being very loud. They're tremendous. They're going to a zone defense right here that is really throttling Lee, and they're down to 7 on the shot clock. Playing a 1-2-2 zone, and the jumper is there. Managed to penetrate enough, and Hallie Hughes gets the first field goal for Lee. Lee dropped the championship game of the Gulf South Conference on Sunday to Union, 58-44. And to be candid with you, both of those teams, when it got to the end, it appeared they were absolutely gassed. And I think that was true. The final quarter, both teams only had 5 points each. On the inside, the turnaround bank shot is there by Bay. Ayana gets her first basket, and we've got a seesaw lead to open it. This Lee team does not panic when it gets behind. Beautiful precision on that pass on the inside to Hallie Hughes. That has to be a perfect timing pattern to work in that regard, and it did. We've already had 4 lead changes in the game. Tell you, this Christmas doesn't score a lot, but she sets a lot of screens. Big three from the corner is not there, and the foul. Pushing off foul, and so it is going to be Lee playing underneath. And multiple substitutions checking in for Benedict. We'll catch you up on them in just a moment. Ayanna Armstead is one of them. And also Keandra Archie has checked in. Marty goes about 8 deep with this Lee team. And on the inside, couldn't get it up high enough, but the foul. Boy, we have had a lot of physical play underneath the basket already. And the foul is charged to White. That's Shanessa White. She is a redshirt senior, 5'10", from St. Matthews, South Carolina. And Haley Schubert, whose name you'll hear us call quite a bit during this game today. She's a tremendous free throw shooter, 78% on the season, but just does so many things. 72 steals that she has so far this year, and 152 assists. If she gets hot from the outside, look out. Big three, trying for an answer from the corner. Again, iron was unkind for White. And again, this team is a very good passing team. The one thing that is a trouble spot is that they do commit 15 turnovers a game. Knocked away, it'll be Lee to play it underneath. But forcing turnovers has been excellent for this team. They forced 18 turnovers a game on the average, and that's led to 19 points off their opponent's mistakes. The jumper, one-hander there. That's an unusual style, but you'll see Hughes do that one-hander, a little push shot. It's a throwback style, and she connects. A 6-0 run for the Lady Flames. And trying to go on the inside, could not get her arm up high enough. So Bay could not connect, and here comes on the big bicycle, the Lady Flames. They work the perimeter. And from the corner, big three, that one was blocked. Nicely knocked away, had a high arc on it, but it was going nowhere. And the kick outside for the three. Yes! First three of the game, and that is Bay. She has 5 of the 7 points for Benedict. Flames do not have any kind of panic when something like that occurs. They just continue to play their disciplined offense. From the corner, air ball outside for Schubert. She's only a 25% shooter from behind the arc, but she hits them in streaks. Give and go underneath, and nicely timed on the block by Grant. Got a number of the other teams who are going to be playing this afternoon that are filtrating inside the place, and making it all the way home is Schubert with the layup. Lee on top, 11-7. And Benedict's going to slow it down. But they work for screens to try to hit from outside. And nicely snatched away by Garrett. She just completely took it away from Benedict. Second turnover of the afternoon. And trying to go the baseline, and it is Schubert from the corner. Nope, iron unkind again. And wide open. It's going to be a one-on-one race. And the reverse layup goes through. This time it is Johnson Kelly. And it's an 11-9 game. This has been a fun one to watch so far. Give and go. And Schubert was open and took the foul on the backside. She was really bumped hard in the hip. Foul is called on White, and we have timeout. So with your score, Lee 11, Benedict 9, you are watching the NCAA Women's South Regionals.
Being a champion takes more than skill, more than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's, will you?
Marty Rowe talking to his team, and an 11-9 lead here, but they knew this was going to be a dandy, and this Benedict team is relentless. So far, let's run down your totals. Lee is shooting 57% from the floor, 4 out of 7, but they've missed all 3 3-pointers. And then they're 75% from the free throw line for Benedict, 3 out of 8 for 37.5%. They've hit the game's only 3-pointer, 1 out of 4 for 25%, and perfect from the free throw line at 100. Benedict out rebounding Lee 4-3. And in turnovers, Benedict with 2, and Lee has not made a mistake yet on the floor. And so it's going to be Haley Schubert. She's a 17-point-a-game average player, and she's an all-Gulf South Conference selection, and deservedly so. In and out on the free throw. That is highly unusual for her to miss her first 2 from the line. She's 2 out of 4. And it's a 12-9 lead for the Flames. Big 3 from outside, and you can see she put a spin on that one, and Armstead connects for her first 3 of the game. She's from Coral Springs, Florida. Marty Rowe getting some reserves in there. There's Mahonen, who's in the game, and she draws the foul. We've got a lot of fouls here called in the first quarter alone. Foul is charged to Bostic, her first. So going to the line, it's Mahonen. Anna Mahonen is from Cleveland, Tennessee, the hometown of Lee University, a 6'1" freshman. And they have a lot of hopes for her in the coming years, and she has been a mainstay giving relief in the post. A 14-12 lead for the Lady Flames. And underneath, the bank shot is there, and Bostic with her first basket. Lee tries to pick up the tempo again. Schubert. She's always looking for the outside player, but she takes that one herself, about a 12-footer. And Schubert has got her A game going. She has 7 already, and Lee leads it again at 16-14. That one's short. And in trouble, but finally working her way out of it is Hallie Hughes. Schubert again. You just look at her numbers this season. She's an unselfish player, but she gets a lot of points herself. And Schubert from the corner. Yes. She has an outstanding form, really good arm extension from outside, and gives Lee a 5-point lead. She is the first player in double figures with 10 already in the first quarter. And they lobbed the inside, and it was just too far out of the range of White. So Lee will play it underneath. That's the 3rd turnover for Benedict. She had a step on her defender, but the pass was just way too far out of range. Mahonen is hemmed up, but they go for the 3 again. Yes, sir. You know when she gets hot, it's going to be a good one, and Smith does it off the bench. And that makes it the biggest lead of the game so far at 22-14. Watch the inside battle in the post right here. Bay got it to drop. Didn't get the bank, but she managed to get the curl, and so Bay connects. That gives her 7. Coach Rice trying to adjust his defense. They go back in the corner with Schubert. Same play, same shot, and it was off to the right. And that was one where just her back was to the ball and Bostic simply didn't see it. They kick to the corner for the 3. Yes! Lee has got a pattern going, and Julia Duncan with her first one from the floor, and Lee up by 9 at 25-16. Chance of defense coming up. And that's those quick hands of Schubert. She can really mess up a defender. And the turnaround curl. Nice bank shot there. Perfect timing on it and getting the geometry just right. Bay with 9 of the 18 points of this Benedict team. It's been a more high-scoring game so far than we anticipated. The jumper from about 11 feet was short. Didn't really have her feet planted, did Duncan. And we're in the final minute of this first quarter, and that one is just too far outside. They were trying for a give and go to Armstead, and she just simply could not reach it. So we got multiple substitutions for both teams. On the season, as we mentioned, Lee is averaging 76 a game, but they are well ahead of that pace here in the first quarter. And they're going to work the perimeter again, but don't be surprised if they go for a give and go. And Schubert, with a defender in her face, she has got the game going today. Schubert's almost hit her season's average in this one and gets the steal. Takes the jumper, short. I guess you could call that a pass. All right, they're going to try to play it for the final opportunity here with 12 left on the quarter clock. Watch Schubert. She may take it herself. They dish it outside. No, off to the right. Could not get it off, even though the rebound came to Carbaugh. And it's 27-18, Lee leading at the end of a very offensively minded first quarter. So we'll be back with the second quarter of action right after this timeout. You're watching the NCAA Division II Women's South Regionals. University out to a 27-18 lead over Benedict College. Let's run down your scoring. For Benedict, it is Ayana Bay with 9, and she has had 4 out of 5 from the floor. And if they can feed the ball into her more and get her open without making errant passes, they've got something going with her. But they committed 6 turnovers, 4 of them in the last 3 minutes of the first quarter. On the other side of the ledger for Lee, it has been Haley Schubert, their all-conference player, 4 out of 7 from the floor, and she also has a three-pointer. 12 points on the afternoon, 6 for Hallie Hughes, so they have 18 of the 27 that Lee has registered so far, and it is, I must tell you, one of these in which the pace of this game is much different in particular than what both of these teams played in their conference championship game last weekend. Lee with a 58-44 loss to Union, and 44 is perilously low for a Lady Flame team. Benedict, of course, knocking off Savannah State, that will be taking on Union at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Benedict had a very, very strong game, but not up to their season average in scoring in that one, which is 73 a game. They've held opponents to 67, so that defense is going to have to bear down. One of the things we saw in the first quarter, there were 3 instances of passes that they were trying to fly down the floor, Benedict, and it was to the back of the player. The player did not turn around to be able to retrieve the ball. And they're calling both of the coaches over right now to have a conversation. And I'm not sure what this is all about, and we may not find out what it's all about. But a discussion is going on with both James Rice and with Marty Rowe. And so, here we go. There were 0.2 of a second remaining when the foul was called. So it was not. That's what it's all about. They decided there were 0.2 of a second remaining. So at the line again is Carbaugh. And so there will be another break here, but we'll keep it right here. Now it's the break. It's 28-18. Lee leads at the end of the first quarter, but we'll keep it right here. That's what happened. Apparently, going back and looking at the replay, the determination was Carbaugh put up the basket with 0.2 of a second. She missed but was fouled. So it was a 2-shot opportunity, so she adds another one to the ledger for Lee. That's what the discussion was with both of these coaches. Marty Rowe came to Lee from Brescia University, a small school that he led to the NAIA Final Four and to several deep runs in that tournament. And he was hired away by Lee in Cleveland, Tennessee, in the Chattanooga area, and has done a monster job there. And this gentleman that you see right in that chair in the middle, James Rice, one of the fine coaches in NCAA Division II women's basketball, and has done a terrific job in the SIAC and one of the leaders in that conference. And Coach Rice today has done – his team is shooting – he may be down by 10, but they're shooting 54% from the floor. And it's not that they're not putting it up that much. They're 7 out of 13. So both of these coaches are fine mentors to their respective teams. And I think you're going to see them make adjustments as they go. You saw in the first quarter where they made – substitutions at will in particularly 3 different key points. They want to try to keep as many players fresh as they possibly can, try to keep them from being 40-minute women because of the fact this is a tournament that is grueling as much as it is challenging, because you have got to win 3 games in 4 days to be able to get all the way to the Elite 8. 4 teams in this regional will continue. 4 will be eliminated after today's outings. Lee with the alternate possession to start this second quarter. And a steal. And it goes out of bounds, and they're going to give it to Benedict. Apparently said last off of the hands of one of the Lee offensive players, so trying to pick up a basket off a turnover. Benedict averages 17 points off their opponent's turnovers during the course of the season. That double spin move, and she just didn't get it high enough off the glass. And in big trouble trying to get out of that trap there. Hughes was almost smothered, but they managed to get it away, but they lost 10 seconds trying to set up this offense. But I can tell you, Schubert, no problem for her. Trying to go down the middle of the paint. Schubert wanted to let fly. They got to hurry down to 2. They have to. Big push, and the iron was not there, but they get the offensive board, and the jumper is there. Duncan with 6. That's what I talk about, this team not panicking. And just like that, a 12-point lead. Big 3 is not there off the corner. This ball club on the season shoots 28% from 3 points. Off for the three. No. Too far right. And let's see how Coach Rice plays this one. Strong man-to-man defense being employed. And they try to go inside once again to Golden, and the foul is called on the backside. Foul is charged to Hallie Hughes. That's her first. So they'll play it underneath, and it'll be Armstead to toss it in. Almost a jump ball. It was a good bounce pass, but Schubert, such quick hands, almost tied it up. This is Johnson Kelly. And to the corner for the three. Yes! Excellent job from outside by Keandra Archie. And it's a 30-21 game. They need 2 or 3 of those to be able to get this back into a real, shall we say, approachable deficit. Down to 10 on the shot clock. They're having a hard time penetrating the inside, going for the three, and that one was off the mark for Duncan. Benedict picking up the pace a bit. They've been more deliberate in the first half. They don't have anybody in the paint at this point. And the kick outside. The three is just too far for Johnson Kelly. And the jumper from 10 feet is there. Duncan with 8. So Julia Duncan is having herself quite an afternoon. 6 different Lady Flames have scored. 5 different Benedict players are on the ledger today. The turnaround, the one hand is not there, and the rebound comes off to Grant. This one is played with a lot more pace, and that one they tried to get it on the other side. They were trying to get it inside to Grant, and it just simply went astray. Coming out of the game is Garrett, and to toss it in is going to be Bostic. That's Lee's first turnover of the contest. Benedict has committed 6, and Lee has converted that into 10 points. That's a big factor in this 32-21 lead, is their 10 points off turnovers. This is Johnson Kelly again, and takes about a 14-footer that's off to the left. And the foul is going to be charged to Mahonen. So they'll go in underneath. That's only the second foul of the entire game for Lee. And checking in, again, Armstead is in, and coming out is Williams. Golston waiting to get this one in. That's one of their classic bread and butter inbounds play. To go all the way back, really right just behind the free throw line. Long bomb three is not there, but they get the offensive board. And again, working underneath the paint. That one was an ill-advised reverse layup, but she was slick enough that she knew the defenders were coming and drew the foul. And it's a 2-shot opportunity. And Lee is going to check in. Macy Woodworth, and she is a 6-foot junior from Walnut Creek, California. And connecting well on that one is Armstead. She has 4 on the afternoon. This is a 73% free throw shooting team. In and out. She was robbed on that one. And Woodworth comes up with the rebound. And they work around the perimeter. On the inside, they do the give and go to Woodworth for her first basket and draws the foul. And the foul is charged to Williams. And checking back in is going to be Golson. And there's some discussion with the scorer's table, but I think they have rectified that. And Marty Rowe is going to send Smith back in. And checking out is Cameron Grant. So it's Woodworth at the line to complete what she hopes will be one of those three-point plays the hard way. And does. So far, Lee 8 out of 11 from the free throw line for 73%. Benedict is at 75, but they only been to the line 4 times. And again, on the inside, lost it. But picked it back up for the 3 with a left-handed push, and Armstead has 7. And she's done it off the bench today, done an outstanding job. It's back to a 10-point margin halfway through this second 10 minutes. And the steal. That's only the 3rd turnover for the Lady Flames. They're open for the 3. No. Pushed just a bit too hard. Got the offensive rebound. It still would not fall. So Lee slows the tempo this time. Marty's going to get a couple of replacements back in. Garrett and Schubert out of the game for a very, very quick break, and they're coming back in on the next stop of the action. Jumper. It goes. Friendly roll was there. And Woodworth now with 5 to make it a 37-25 lead for Lee. Winner will be back at it tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock right here on this floor, and we'll have it for you live. Turn it around, and it's a foul. Foul is charged to Smith. That is her first. And we have timeout on the floor with 4 minutes remaining in the second quarter, and with Lee on top of Benedict, 37-25. You're watching the NCAA Division II Women's South Regionals.
NCAA Division II Community Engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
Lee has been maintaining a double-digit lead for most of this second quarter, shooting 57% from the floor, 13 out of 23. A rather weak three-point game, but they haven't really had to rely on it today. 3 out of 11 for 27%, and 73% from the free throw line. Lee out-rebounding Benedict 13-10. Benedict 9 of 23 for 39%, a bit below their season average, just by a hair, 40%. Three-pointers, they're 4 out of 11 for 36% and 75% from the free throw line. As far as fouls are concerned, Mahonen has 2 for Lee, and White and Christmas have 2 for Benedict. And it is Ayana Bay at the line. She's their leader so far with 9. Bay is a 77% free throw shooter on the season, and the iron just did not cooperate. Based on her season's average, chances are she'll drop this one. And she does. And again, more substitutions checking back in. James Rice is really shuttling players in and out, particularly in the backcourt, to try to keep them as fresh as possible. And they're going to a little bit of a half-court trap. Had 3 players that stayed in the backcourt, but Lee managed to break that press. Hemmed up underneath. They're really double-teaming the post. Open for the three with a left-hand push, and it is not there for Carball. And here comes Johnson Kelly to set up the play. And she goes into the paint and flicks up a hook that does not go. She just lulled everybody to sleep, and she had the range. It was just a little bit too far right. Here we go with Garrett. And a whistle away from the ball. And a 3-second violation. And so that is turnover number 4 for the Lady Flames. And again, James Rice bringing in him. He's already played, gone to his bench. He's already played 11 in this game. Keandra Archie is back in. And they'll take the tempo slow as we reach the 3-minute mark of this second quarter. They need a flurry. Big three. That was off balance. She just really lost her balance as he shot it and almost made it, was Johnson Kelly. Working around the perimeter and then inside, and the foul. Good dribble penetration on the part of Haley Schubert. She's the game's leader with 12, and Marty Rowe is going to get Julia Duncan back in after this first free throw. And apparently they're going to say it was not in the act of shooting, so it is going to be underneath for Lee. Give and go underneath. That's a beautiful fake, and the hook banks in. Cameron Grant, you can't write that in a textbook any better than that. 13-point lead for Lee matches its largest of the contest. Once Lee got out to a double-digit lead, they pretty well hung on to it. And again, working the perimeter and trying to go into the paint. The jumper is again in and out for Johnson Kelly. Schubert is just such a crisp passer no matter where she is on the floor. And throwing it away. A little bit of indecision on the part of Hughes. She was open for a second for the three, picked up by the defender, and then launched a pass that just went astray. But Marty Rose just settling everybody down. I've known Marty for more than 20 years, and except for one time in his career, and he knows this because I watched him, it came when he brought a Lee team in on this floor to play Union, and they looked like they were just ready to go home for the Christmas holidays, and in the first half, Marty just lit into his team, and one of the official scorers looked down at us at the other end, and he said, "I don't believe Marty's had any of the Christmas cheer." And the dribble was right on the end line. She was looking for a cutter to come on in the paint, and that was one of those just unfortunate situations, and Armstead dribbled it right on the baseline and commits the turnover, and that's number 7. This Lee team comes in very, very loose. And they have just so many weapons on the floor to be able to give a team nightmares. Coming in as the number 3 seed. Tampa the number 2 seed. Union number 1. And again, they work the give and go underneath, the bounce pass, and traveling. That was one of those that Duncan had it, and there was just too much hesitation, and she slid her left foot and was called for traveling, and I think she knew it the minute that whistle blew. So again, trying to capitalize off a turnover, they have only made Benedict only 1 point off of the mistakes of Lee, and that's what's hurting them in this game. Double teamed and overshoots the bank. And the follow is not there as well for Archie. And we're under a minute in the first quarter of play. Second quarter play, pardon me. And the steal. Let's see how this goes. It's going to be a one-on-one race and trying to take it all the way, and it's too short for Armstead. That's the kind of thing you make the other team make a mistake and you can't capitalize off of it. 22 on the game clock, 18 on the shot clock. They're going to just literally pause for a moment and hopefully get somebody open underneath, or Schubert may take it herself. And the three. Nope. Rims out, and with 2.2 seconds remaining, Benedict will have an opportunity for a home run play if they can do it, and Marty's going to bring 3 players, now 4, in the backcourt to try to hem them in from doing any kind of heroics, and they throw the bomb. She's going to have to let it go, and she can't. I think that would have gone, but it went astray to the right. And Lee leads it at halftime, 39-26. In what, as we say, has been a little bit more of offensive display than we have seen the defensive talents of both of these teams. And we'll run down the scoring for you here as we take a 15-minute break at halftime. First off, for Benedict, it is Ayana Bay with 10, and she is their leader. She was the first player in double figures in the contest. 7 for Armstead off the bench. And they have 17 of the 26 points that Benedict has. Over for Lee, 2 players in double figures as well. Haley Schubert with 12, 4 out of 7 from the floor, and she's also had 4 rebounds. And Haley, of course, is their floor leader. And she's one of these that she had 10 in the first quarter. They held her to 2 in the second, but it doesn't matter. She may be looking for other players to dish off to. Had a couple of assists. And then 10 points for Julia Duncan, and she was 4 out of 6 from the floor. But the big category is 10 points off turnovers for Lee to only 1 for Benedict, and Benedict has had its chances. So the Tigers are hoping to see if they can make some adjustments when they come back out for the second half. Well, we're going to take a break as Lee leads at 39-26 here at halftime. We will pause, and you will be having an opportunity to go to the refrigerator, take a break of your own, and then we'll be back here with about 3 minutes to go, about 10 and a half minutes from now. We'll be right back here to get you ready for the start of the second half. Don't go anywhere. And back we are, Steve Beverly, bringing you the second half of action between Lee and Benedict. Lady Flames on top 39-26. Here at halftime, let's show you how the tail of the tape stacks up here as we approach the third quarter. Lee shooting 54% from the floor, 14 of 26, had well-timed shots, 31% for Benedict. One of their problems is just they have not been able to connect as proficiently from outside the arc, and they are at 31%, 9 out of 29. For Lee, three-pointers have not been the bread and butter today, 3 out of 13 for 23%. Benedict, 4 out of 12 for 33. In free throws, Lee hitting right about its season average, 73% from the line, and Benedict just a shade below its average at 67. Lee with the edge and rebounding, 18-12. And that's been a huge factor because this Benedict team is one that will crash the boards on you because they average 45 rebounds a game during the season. Each team has made 7 turnovers, but I'm going to show you, as we mentioned as we took our break, where the big key is points off turnovers. Each team making 7, and then Lee capitalizing for 10 points to only 1 for Benedict. And when you're trailing by 13, you look at that category to get a big, big cue as to where you are, and that's exactly what it is. So it is Lee on top, as we say. Tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock, the winner of this game will move on into the semifinals of the Women's South Regionals. And it is really looking like it's going to be one of the fine tournaments that we have ever had. This is the 4th time that Union University has hosted this classic. And, of course, the big goal for all of these teams is to get to championship Monday night, which we'll have for you live right here at 7 o'clock. And it is really, that's the whole goal of all of this, is that everybody wants to be able to stay in Jackson, Tennessee through Monday night, because that means then it's there. You determine which one is going to go on to the Elite 8 of the NCAA Division II Women's Tournament. And that's what makes this such an exciting time of year, and it's great to have all of you with us. And I hope you're going to enjoy all the action as we go at 2:30, 5, and 7:30 for the other games of this evening. Lee getting ready, and again, with the 13-point lead, they seem very, very relaxed and comfortable, and that's what you pretty well expect from the way they have played all season long. And you may say, okay, they got 7 losses on their chart, but most of them have not been by wide margins whatsoever. And Marty Rowe plays a very tough schedule that's somewhat, if you will, postseason tournament-like. He plays a tough schedule in November. And it's Benedict with the alternate possession to begin this third quarter. And right there between the defenders and swirling in for that layup is Johnson Kelly. She has 6. And with her 13-point average, they need more from her, but the answer shot comes on the backside because nobody could pick up Schubert. She has 14. Chance of defense coming from the Lee bench and fans and traveling. Just one step too many on that side for White. So let's see how Marty plays this one coming back down. A fair contingent has made the trip from Cleveland, and that was a well-ranged shot, but it just could not go. Haley Garrett had really good range on that one. It just wouldn't fall. As we say, on the season, Lee averages 33% from behind the arc. They have not been able to penetrate the paint very well. The 3, the iron was unkind again, but the follow is not there. It was just completely errant. And here goes Schubert on the bicycle. This team is so quick. Open for the 3. Yes! Hallie Hughes with 9. That's her first three-pointer of the afternoon. That's the largest lead for Lee to date, 16 points. And they try to go to the inside, and they have just clogged up the paint. Excellent defensive game plan on the part of Marty Rowe, and the 9th turnover for Benedict. This team just communicates so well with each other on the floor. They know where each other is everywhere they are. And right between the defenders and getting it to fall. Perfectly navigated for Cameron Grant. And Lee is threatening to blow this one wide open in the early stages of the third quarter. And the hook. And again, a little bit too far outside for that. The follow just will not go. And the third opportunity finally drops. So Bostic with 4 to make it a 46-30 game. And they have to make their move, but right behind everyone and overshooting it was Duncan. Oh, my goodness. She was so far ahead of the defenders. And that young lady was far ahead of the defenders at the other end of the floor. So they've cut it to 14. From the corner, the three is there. That's how you answer it. And Hallie Hughes with 12, and that gets her bench up. A 17-point margin now. Benedict looked like he was going to make a flurry trying the answer shot, and it is there for Johnson Kelly. Her first three, and she has 11. So the offensive pace has picked up again here in the early stages of this third quarter. And they go around the perimeter. And just look at underneath. They're trying to get inside, but they're double teamed. Schubert was just lurking around there behind the arc, and she was looking to let fly, but they couldn't get the ball to her. Checking in is Mahonen again at the post. And let's see how Marty plays this with only 7 on the shot clock, and they threw it away. And here they go. Benedict, oh my goodness, almost lost it, and double dribble. That's one of those situations that we talked about. If Lee gives you an opportunity, you have to capitalize, and they have not been able to make that happen. And they're going to work the perimeter again, but again, look out for Schubert getting open. Turnaround jumper is there from 15 feet. Mahonen with 4. And it's back to the 16-point margin. And you try to make that climb back up the ladder, and it expends so much physical and emotional energy for a team like Benedict. That's why the third quarter is so key to make your move, and that one is short. Picked back up by Johnson Kelly. She's in all kinds of traffic. Armstead looking for an opening. And she takes it all the way down and overshoots it. The follow is not there, but the foul is charged. And they're going to charge that one to Mahonen. That is her first. And the first foul for anyone in the third quarter, so going to the line, it's going to be Bay. She's 1 out of 2 today from the line. 77% on the season. This place gets like a morgue when they start going to the free throw line, and she commits. Got the Valdosta State ladies over here, and we're entertaining them just a bit. I haven't told them I actually went to Valdosta State, so I get it. See, that's the only way I can get a hand on this telecast. 15-point lead as they convert 1 out of the 2, and knocked away beautifully. Mahonen was going in for the left-hand layup, and that's an outstanding block. Perfectly timed by Bostic. That young lady, she may only have 2 points, but defensively, she's done some wonderful things in this game. They just need to capitalize off those mistakes when Lee makes them. There's the air ball, and it's tipped back into the hands of Armstead. They're going to go for the home run, and it is stolen. They just didn't have enough of a step, and the pass went in between the defenders, and that was enough time for Lee to pull off the turnover. And from the corner, the three is there. So Grant with her first three, giving her 7, and it's an 18-point lead once again at 54-36. We'll have a media timeout here shortly if we ever get a break in the action. 3, answer shot is there for Johnson Kelly. And they slow the tempo down again this time. They're trying not to get into a run-and-shoot match. And trying again from outside. Off the back of the iron. This is going to be a scramble for it. Nice, quick hands on the part of Grant. But here's a steal. It's going to be all the way down the stretch she goes. Armstead, coast to coast, and that's cut it to a 13-point lead, and so a 5-0 run now as Schubert tries to get down inside and can't get it to fall. And the rebound comes off to Bostic, and now you're seeing a little bit of a flurry from Benedict, which is what they sorely need, and the bank is there. 7 unanswered points. That was Archie. She has 5. A lot of these are coming from players off the bench, but it doesn't matter because they have closed it to an 11-point margin. James Rice resetting his defense. And from behind the arc, the line drive 3. Answer is there for Grant. Give her 10. She's the 4th Lady Flame in double figures. 3:15 to go, third quarter. And the foul on the drive. It's going to be played underneath. Foul is charged to Grant, and that is her first. Lee's only committed 17 fouls in the game, and we have timeout. So with Lee leading Benedict 57-43, you are watching the NCAA Division II Women's South Regionals.
I was told the place I was looking for didn't exist.
A place that could refine my raw talents into something greater.
Where I could ask big questions about my faith, not settling for easy answers.
And I could risk what's comfortable in pursuit of my dream.
To join with others, find my voice, and change the world.
I was told that place didn't exist.
Then I found Lee.
James Rice has to be heartened by that flurry his team made. They closed it to within 11. It's 57-43, and they'll have possession when they come back. But after falling behind by 19, it was a wake-up call, and Benedict suddenly picked up the tempo and managed to get a couple of layups, a 3 from outside. Johnson Kelly with 14, Bay with 13, and Armstead with 9. Over for Lee, 4 players in double figures. Schubert, as you would imagine, is the leader with 14. 12 for Hughes and 10 each for Grant and Duncan. The big key, Lee is shooting 57% from the floor. It is hard to combat that. 21 out of 37. Benedict 38%, 16 of 42. But Benedict will play it, and with 3:13 to go in the third quarter, I wouldn't call it in a stage of desperation yet, but they really need to get this down to a single-point margin as we go to the fourth quarter. And in between defenders going up high instinctively was Armstead because she knew she was probably going to draw the foul. Smith is charged. That's the third team foul, but it is in the act of shooting, so Smith will go to the line. Check that. That's the other number one. This is Armstead, and she connects. 57-44 with 3:06 remaining. She wasted no time whatsoever, and that 19-point lead is down to 12 once again. And they're going to a half-court, actually a full-court press now. They got everybody up in the backcourt. And they threw it away, and that absolutely rattled Lee because Carball was trying to reach Duncan and just absolutely lost the momentum. So that's turnover number 10 on Lee. The key is being able to capitalize off of it. They did in the last possession. And let's see how Coach Rice plays it. They've done a good job of getting down underneath and tipped away. You just can't afford that when you force the turnover, and Garrett stole it away. These defenders for Lee have such quick hands. They can rattle you to death. 13 on the shot clock. And going for a big three. Just off the back of the iron, and the rebound comes off, but it was lost. White had the rebound, but it was tipped away. Give and go feed underneath, and that's the way they come back at you and combat you. And Garrett with her first basket of the game. Now, everybody that's played for Lee has scored. And what could have been cut potentially to a 10-point margin and a whistle away from the ball. Foul is charged to Smith, and that it will be her third, and so they will check back into the game Cameron Grant. Also coming out is Carball. And checking in for Benedict again is Golson. So here we go. They badly need this one and another one. At very, very worst, you want to be on top. You want to be down by 10. And in and out. Just absolutely robbed. But they scramble, and it's picked up, and bodies all over the floor. And from the corner, open for the three. Finally, a little indecision, but finally nailing it was Julia Duncan with 13. And just like that, it's back to a 17-point margin. And Benedict had a chance to cut this to a 10-point game. And now they're going to be really having to climb a major ladder. Here's a steal. Yes, it is Schubert. And she sees her teammate down the floor, and the foul. Duncan had just enough. And you can see Marty Rowe continuing to coach his team and talking to his assistants. Duncan just had the instinctive measure to put that ball up even if she didn't have a good shot at it, and she's going for two. And on the season, Duncan is 82%. And got it. She's one of these that usually can get a friendly roll, such as that one. And Julia connects again. And on the afternoon, she has 15, and she is the game's leader. And they go into the paint. And the turnaround was forced, and it is there in the foul. Excellent precision on the part of Bay. And she and Johnson Kelly have had to really carry this team on their shoulders, but that was a big one to get that one to drop. And going for the three-point play. And she got the Plinko drop. If that had been the Price is Right, she would have won $10,000. Checking back in for Benedict is Bostic. A 16-point game, and he's going to press everyone. The last time, it forced a turnover. And we're under 1 minute to go in the third quarter. Oh, my goodness, right behind everyone, and committing the foul is Johnson Kelly. That's only her first. But wide open underneath, and that's the second time that's happened in the last 3 minutes. Duncan was right there, and she drew the foul. So she'll go for two. Duncan on the season is a 10-point-a-game average player, but she has outdone herself today. Got the friendly roll again. Duncan 4 out of 5 from the line today, and 5 out of 9 in field goal shooting. She's just had a terrific afternoon, and get her to 17 now. She may end up doubling her season's average. And on the inside, the bounce pass, it looked as though it was going to go astray. Now, the question is, do they call it a jump ball or a foul? Yes, they do. Give her the basket and the foul. It was very, very close to being a held ball. But Johnson Kelly nailed it through to give her 16 on the afternoon, and they need everything they can to hold down this deficit and try to make a run in the fourth quarter. So Johnson Kelly has hit her only 2 free throws today. 84% on the season. Got it. A 15-point lead and a full-court press. They got to be careful, again, of Duncan getting open underneath. They'd love to be able to work as much time off of this clock and then get a last-minute basket. It is Schubert. They got to hurry now with 4 on the shot clock. Put up the big 3. No. So it's going to have to be a fast track here. And underneath, the layup is there for Armstead. You couldn't write it any better than that. And they're in the press again. And that's the end of the third quarter, but it was an excellent, excellent recovery to cut that 19-point lead down to 13 as we go to the break before the fourth quarter. So with the score, Lee 66 and Benedict 53. You're watching the NCAA Division II Women's South Regionals.
Leaders Become Leaders is an NCAA Teamworks program which was created to support and help elementary school children get excited about reading.
I am a reader.
Readers Become Leaders partners selected school districts from across the country with NCAA student athletes, coaches, and local organizing committees to encourage our children to read through fun competitions, field trips, and prizes.
The power of reading is so important. In order for these kids to have a strong chance, the best chance they can of being successful, they need to be really good readers.
A key element to ensure that a child is prepared to maximize their educational opportunities is to take the time to read to them and let them read to you at least 30 minutes every day. The Readers Become Leaders program is how NCAA Teamworks and our partners continue to make a difference together.
Benedict making a bit of a rally at the end of the third quarter to close it down to 66-53, shooting 41% from the floor, 37% three-pointers, and 9 of 12, 75% in free throws. Lee has out-rebounded Benedict 23-20, but still shooting 56% from the floor, 36% in three-pointers, and 12 out of 15 for 80% from the line. And Marty gets the ball to begin the quarter, and it goes off of the hands of Schubert, but they say there was a foul. So the foul right off the bat is charged to Benedict. Boy, they're giving her trouble, and almost had trouble getting it inside the 5-second time limit. The key for Lee is to get a couple of early baskets and try to salt this one away, and that's one way to do it. That bounce pass was perfectly timed on the inside to Hallie Hughes. Give her 14, and it's 68-53. Chance of defense again coming from the Lee bench. And here you go, Armstead underneath. She just outran the defenders and cuts it back to 13. Armstead's done an excellent job off the bench with 13 points. And trying to drive in on the baseline, and the foul, rather a violation is called. They said that she took a step before she actually drove, and so again an opportunity for this Benedict team to capitalize, but here's the big category today. Lee has picked up 18 points off turnovers, Benedict only 3. And they've had their opportunities because Lee has made 11 turnovers in the game. And again, working around inside the gray and then going for the 3. Back on the back of the iron, but the follow was too hard. But Johnson Kelly gets the rebound and will draw the foul and go to the line for 2. Foul was on Schubert, and that's only her second. Mahonen has 3 and Smith has 3, both of them off the bench. And checking back in again, it is Bostic. So Johnson Kelly again at the line. She has just a very smooth, precise form when she shoots her free throws. There's not a lot of body movement, just extends her arms high, and she's a good one to watch, and particularly to teach younger players. Has sort of a one-hand push. Didn't mean to jinx her on that one. Has sort of a one-handed push, but it's a good form. They got 2-on-1 underneath, and that was a little bit of indecision on the part of Duncan, but they retrieve it, going for the 3. Yes! That line drive by Grant gives her 13. And it's back to a 15-point margin at 71-56. James Rice redirecting his offense. Going for the 3. No, way left. And the rebound to Grant. That's the kind of thing that you call a shot turnover, because you hope to be able to come back and get at least a 2 out of that possession, and you only get 1 shot out of it. I've talked to many coaches who will tell you, if you can only get 1 shot in a possession and it doesn't go, it's really a shot turnover, even though there's no category for that in any of the statistic measurements. That's Hughes to toss it in. And tipped away. That's turnover number 12 for the Lady Flames. Slowing that tempo again is Johnson Kelly. And underneath. Nicely done, but could not get it up high enough off the glass. It was just short for Bostic. So Schubert will take her time. 14 points on the afternoon and 4 assists. And they're going to take their time. No hurry to deliver here with 6 on the shot clock. Schubert is not any way panicked and puts up the 3. Just a little bit left. Armstead the rebound, and here they come again with Johnson Kelly. And again, they could not get it on the inside. Marty Rowe's team has defended the paint so well today. And they'll spread them back out again. They're going to use as much time as they can on the clock. Up by 15 with 6:43 to go. Up for the 3. Yes. Perfect form. Excellent. Great delivery on the part of Hughes, who has 17. I know her family that may be watching today absolutely proud of the job that she has done. And again, back to the outside and trying to drive inside the paint, and it was just too much for Armstead. They are going to have another opportunity. And the jumper from 15 feet is an iron unkind. And covering that rebound is Grant to give her 9 on the afternoon. She gets one more, and she'll have a double-double for the day. Inside, nobody was challenging at home Mahonen. Nobody was challenging her, and she drew the foul as well as the basket. 20-point lead, largest of the afternoon for Lee. And getting set to check back in is Garrett. And also coming in for the Tigers is Keandra Archie. So going for the three-point play, and let's see what happens. They're confirming that it's one shot. So Mahonen, this would give her 7 off the bench this afternoon. No doubt about it. 13 of 16 from the line today, and Mahonen checks out. And she's done her job today off the bench. And Benedict slowing that tempo again. They're going to have to get a lot more urgent down 21. Johnson Kelly changes the pace and puts it up and gets it. The one-hander, and she's got 20 to lead the entire game. You can't put it on her back this afternoon. She's done everything she's had asked of her. And it's Duncan, again, to direct the traffic. Give and go underneath, and the foul. Hughes was open just long enough to draw that foul, and it is charged to Johnson Kelly. That is her second. So Duncan this afternoon, 5 out of 6 from the line. Very, very defendable free throw shooter. And gets it. And it's looking ever more, even though we still got 5:14 remaining, ever more like Lee is going to be a semifinal team in this Women's South Regional. Connects again. 79-58. And Lee has surpassed its season average of scoring of 71 points a game. Almost, and it is stolen. And they're going to say that on that tumble, Grant was fouled. And Cameron's okay. Took a bit of a spill. And then going to the deck pretty hard as well was Keandra Archie. And she looks to be okay. She's shaking it off. Very resilient young lady. And 4:58 remaining. We got timeout. So with the score, Lee 79, Benedict 58. You are watching the NCAA Division II Women's South Regionals.
NCAA Division II, community engagement is an initiative at all 25 national championships because student athletes want to give back while competing for a national title. Over the course of the year, Division II student athletes have an opportunity to leave a lasting impression in local communities throughout the country. Whether Division II student athletes are volunteering at hospitals, schools, after-school care programs, foster homes, or retirement villages, they make a difference in the lives of others. In Division II, we rise to the opportunity and make community engagement ours.
It has been an afternoon of, I know, frustration for James Benedict and James Rice and the Benedict Tigers because it was within reasonable range at halftime, and in the third quarter, they managed to close the gap at one point down to 10 points. And it looked as though if they could get a flurry going, get consecutive stops, and convert, they might be able to do something. But again, the key factor this afternoon, and it's a statistic that a lot of times goes overlooked, Lee with 21 points off of Benedict's turnovers, and Benedict has only been able to convert 4 points off of Lee's turnovers. And in a 21-point lead, that 17-point margin off turnovers is huge. And Lee just seems to be very, very relaxed out on the floor. You can see it in their facial expressions. Marty's spreading them out again. I tell you, Schubert will pass it all the way across the court and make you almost lose your cookies, but she still manages to find her teammate. And from the corner, the three is an air ball. But the offensive board goes through. Once again, that second chance opportunity, and Grant is 6 for 6 from the floor today. She has been something else. Johnson Kelly working off the screen and can't get it to fall. They get the offensive board. Going for the big bomb three, and it goes off the top of the iron and the foul. And hitting the deck very, very hard was White. And that's only the second team foul. And so they'll play it underneath. Lee's committed 2 team fouls and Benedict 4 in this fourth quarter. And let's see how they play it. And knocking off the defender quite well and getting it to fall through was White. She has 4. It's an 81-60 game. And we're under 4 minutes to go, and this is where Lee is at its best with this kind of lead. They're not going to make silly mistakes, and the jumper for Schubert just goes astray. And a pickup, and the one-hand push shot does not fall. And finally, it is Benedict that comes up with it. And the foul as Bay nails it through to give her 18. And that foul is charged to Garrett, her second. So Bay with 18 points on the day, 7 of 16 from the floor. And she's been 3 of 5 from the line trying to convert a three-pointer. And does. And checking back in is Bostic. And they're going to employ a 2-player press. Not quite a true half-court trap. And again, they work the perimeter. Lee just taking its time, splitting the defenders underneath. Beautiful pass by Schubert. She connected underneath to Garrett, who will go to the line. White commits her third, and at the line for 2 is Garrett. Only 3 points on the day, but she has done so much defensively across the board. She's got 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals in the game. Gets them both. And we're back to that 20-point lead that Lee has maintained for most of this second half, and particularly in the fourth quarter. Just too much manpower and too much strength offensively, and they've cut off the paint so well. Tossing it in will be Golson. But this team has nothing to be ashamed about whatsoever. They have made it into the NCAA regionals. And underneath, managing to deliver it home. And White makes it an 83-65 game. The Benedict team winning the SIAC tournament and certainly has been a proud representative of that conference today. From the corner, the three. Yes! And timeout is called as Johnson Kelly has 23, and both of these teams are going to take a break. We'll take one, too. So with the score, Lee 83, Benedict 68. You're watching the NCAA Division II Women's South Regionals.
Being a champion takes more than skill, More than endless drills, more than using your head. Being a champion takes the heart to give it your all, the agility to thrive from any angle, and the relentless drive to be the best. Welcome to Division II, where the pursuit is yours to create, and the question isn't, can you do it? It's will you?
So, James Rice attempting to give final instructions. His team has not stopped fighting, even though they were down 20. They've closed it to 15 at 83-68. The odds are incredibly against a miracle comeback, but he's trying to teach his team a number of key lessons that when you are at this point, you don't give up. You keep trying to force turnovers. You keep trying to go down and get quick shots and hopefully deliver and make this a respectable game. For Marty Rowe, the key thing is to tell his team, stay relaxed. Don't try to do any errant passes and just do what you can to try to keep this game in the same rhythm that it's been in, because you've controlled it really since the first 2 minutes of the game. We had 4 lead changes in the first 3 minutes, and then it was all Lee from that time on. And they're going to the all-court pass, and it's the home run. And underneath, the one-on-one, and the layup is overshot by Duncan. And that's the kind of thing you look on that as the equivalent of a turnover. It was a beautifully executed play, but Duncan just overshot it. They cannot take a lot of time on this. Big three. No, way left. But the follow is there for Armstead with 17 points off the bench. And Marty Rowe calls timeout. We'll keep it right here this time. Marty's going to call timeout primarily because he's looking up. And when we took the timeout, he was up 20, and now it's down to a 13-point margin at 83-70. So he's trying to keep his team staying on an even keel focus, because this press has given his team several problems. This afternoon, the leading scorer is Johnson Kelly with 23 for Benedict, 19 for Bay, and 17 off the bench for Armstead. For Lee, 4 players in double figures: Hallie Hughes with 19, Julia Duncan 17, Cameron Grant 15, and Haley Schubert with 14. But look at Schubert's totals: 4 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals. She's just done everything, a big combination. Grant with a double-double at 15 points and 10 rebounds. And let's see how Marty tries to play it against the press this time. This time they don't have any trouble getting it in. And Benedict is forced to back off. But they're playing, and it's a steal. They have not given up the fight. But they cannot take 15 to 18 seconds on the possession to get a shot off. From the corner, the three is way too strong. And the rebound comes off to Hughes. They had their chance to knock it down to 10, and traveling is called. So Lee commits its 15th turnover. But as we say in the points off turnovers category, the Lady Flames have the edge by commanding 23-7, and on that 13-point lead, you can chalk it up in that category. And again, with 1:19 remaining, there has to be a sense of urgency here. And the jumper from behind the arc is there. They're going to say her foot was on top of the arc. We'll keep it here, 83-72. That is a 2-point basket. No, they gave her the three. They just put the three up there. So we'll keep it right here, 83-73. So it's been a whirlwind recovery from this Benedict team with 72 seconds remaining, down 10 at 83-73. Again, the odds are supremely against a miracle comeback here. But you have to hand it to them, and just the even keel coaching on the part of James Rice to keep this team at least focused on trying to not only make this respectable, but to rattle Lee here in the late going, and they're already back on the floor. Marty is again trying to keep his team focused on the task at hand to protect this lead. Lee's shooting percentage today has been brilliant, what you want to have at tournament time, 54%. And it's been better than their three-point average at 39%. There's one of the guys who is being the sergeant-at-arms today. And again, they managed to find the inside with Hughes, and she's trying to get everybody else back down the floor, and the foul is an offensive foul. And I have to tell you, Hughes is stunned at the call. They said she led off with the elbow, and Marty Rowe has his arms folded and is having a discussion, but they say she pushed off. So at the line is Armstead, and there's some discussion about whether, this thing's going to be played underneath. Yeah, this is not a shooting foul. You don't have a shooting foul off of the offensive foul. And Marty Rowe is absolutely beside himself right down below us. Now again, 66 seconds remain. The layup is there. White connects to make it we're down to a 9-point game. But they're going to have to get a quick stop. And again, 19 on the shot clock. They may have to commit a foul here pretty quickly. No, they forced the turnover, and it's going to go back to Lee. No, they have reversed it. It is going to go to Benedict. So here we go. The Tigers trying to valiantly, but the thing they cannot afford to do, they're going to look at this on the replay to determine specifically who it was off the fingertips last. And one official signaled that it's Lee ball, and then the other one reversed it and said Benedict, so they're going to come over and take a look at it. 83-74. If it's Benedict's ball, they have to get something really within 7 to 8 seconds down the floor. And at this stage of the game, you've got to almost think that they have to go for three-point shots. Today, they are 32% from the floor, 7 of 22 from behind the arc. On the season, they are a 26% three-point shooting team, so they've done better than their season's average, but you have to believe that at this stage of the game, you got to do it, and you cannot take 10 to 12 seconds to get up a basket. You just can't. There is no way you can do it and expect to make the comeback all the way through. And the officials are still looking over the replay to try to determine who's going to toss this ball in. If it's Lee, you can probably call it game over at that point. All right, they have finally made their ruling. It belongs to Benedict. So it was a 20-point lead at one stage of this fourth quarter. And here you go, 83-74. So Benedict has made a dramatic rally. It probably is not enough. And again, they've got to pick up the tempo and do it fast. And she's taking up so much time. It is just going to be very hard to do. And the big three, it's too much. You can tell it the minute it left her hand. They've got to put one up quick. From the corner, another three. Yes! White connects again, a 6-point lead, 83-77. We'll keep it right here, 83-77. White with 11 points. Who would have thought we were down to a 2-possession game when Lee had what looked to be just a totally insurmountable 20-point lead with 8 minutes remaining in the game? And all of a sudden, they've committed now 17 turnovers in the game, and there have been 7 of them in this fourth quarter. And again, the odds tell you that it's still going to be outside the range of Benedict unless they get a quick steal and managed to navigate a 3 in and get another quick steal. And you might try to drive in and get a basket and a foul, but nobody really expected this whatsoever. And the tempo of this game just changed completely here in the closing stages, and particularly the last 4 minutes of this fourth quarter. Each team has 2 timeouts remaining. And you have to believe that it's going to be full court pressure on the part of Benedict. I want to thank our fine crew for doing the job that they have this afternoon, our executive producer, Paul Schultze, and our director, Christopher Reasons. All right, let's see how they play it. And Lee will get the ball down at its end of the floor, but Benedict, you got to know, they are going to be creating all kinds of pressure. And they almost have to commit a foul now. It's down to 14 seconds. And they're not challenging. Yep, and that's what Schubert does best. She just ducked her head and allowed the foul to occur. James Rice was trying to argue for a jump ball, but it was clearly a foul. And they gave up 9 seconds on the clock. So Schubert goes to the line, and she will have 2. 14 on the day. Perfect. And that pretty well ends any hope. 84-77. 3 possessions in 10 seconds. It's not going to happen. 85-77. And Marty Rowe gets his best defenders in the game now. And we got one more timeout. So let's take it. With Lee leading 85-77, you are watching the NCAA Division II Women's South Regionals.
The road to national championships runs through NCAA.com. And whether you follow one college team or all of them, it's never been easier to get the content you want all in one place. With live broadcasts of multiple championships across all divisions, with exclusive access.
This is your ticket to the NCAA tournament.
And highlights for every single championship. Stay in the game all season long with NCAA.com, the home of college sports.
James Rice really thought it was a jump ball down at the opposite end when the foul was called that sent Schubert to the line for the 2 free throws that pretty well have iced this one at 85-77. But you got to take your hat off to this Benedict team for the way they have fought back. And it looked as though it was way over with 8 minutes left, and Lee was in a 20-point lead. And then here they come, forcing turnovers, full court pressure, making steals, doing everything possible that they could to make this a contest, and they did. They closed it to 83-77, but now Benedict will play it at its own end. They got to get one underneath, and that was a gamble. They tried to get it underneath to Bay, and they just went too far with it. And so it'll be Lee's ball on the side, and it's game, set, and match. Lee will be going into the semifinals tomorrow afternoon at 5 o'clock. They got to hurry up and get rid of it, and it's an instinctive move to toss it off of the defender. No time went off the clock. That just probably stung the leg of Bay. And now let's see how Marty plays it. Smart move on the part of Hughes to retain possession with 9.7 seconds remaining. Good pressure, but they retrieve it. And the foul very, very quickly, and that's going to send Duncan to the line. Julia today is 5 out of 6. And they will get Cameron Grant back in for defense. So at the line for 2, Duncan. She's had herself a fine, fine afternoon, in addition to her scoring 3 assists and 2 steals. And both of those steals led to baskets on the part of Lee. 87-77. One final opportunity for the Benedict team. And they're going to pull back, go for the 3, and it's off to the right, and that's it. Lee University from the Gulf South Conference will advance to the semifinal round of the NCAA Women's South Regionals. For Benedict, they will end up the season at 23-8. Lee is now 25-7. But the tournament champions of the SIAC, what a tremendous rally and comeback they made in that fourth quarter. It just was not enough. They were too far behind when they got down by 20. And it is Lee that prevails. And we'll run down the stats and the scoring for you. For Benedict, 29 of 67 from the floor for 43%. 8 out of 25 in three-pointers for 32%, and 73% from the free throw line. Lee out-rebounded Benedict 31-28 on the afternoon. And in Lee's totals, 28 of 52 for 54% from the floor, and it stayed in the 50s virtually the entire game. 10 out of 26 in three-pointers for 39%, and in free throws, boy, this is a team, you don't want to put them on the free throw line. 21 of 24 for 88%. Monumental day from the free throw line. And that key category that we kept telling you is points off turnovers, and Lee scored 25, finally, out of the single digits. Benedict, with some of those turnovers they forced late in the contest, 14. But still an 11-point edge in points off turnovers. That was the big, huge factor of that, because Lee wins it by 10, and that held up pretty well for the entire game. In scoring, it was Johnson Kelly, the game's leader, 9 out of 19 from the floor with 25 points on the day and 8 rebounds to add to that. She was tremendous in everything that she did. And Ayana Bay was 7 out of 16 from the floor and 19 points on the afternoon. 17 points for Armstead, who did a terrific job off the bench, 6 of 11. And then you had White coming off the bench to score 11. She was 5 of 8 from the floor. So you had 4 players in double figures for Benedict. Everybody that played for Lee scored. And they were led by both Hallie Hughes with 19 points and Julia Duncan with 19. And Cameron Grant with 15, 16 for Haley Schubert. But we are going to give our player of the game honors for this South Regional quarterfinal game. We're going to give our player of the game honors to Cameron Grant. 15 points and 10 rebounds. She had a double-double on the afternoon, was perfect from the floor at 6 for 6. And she took a beating out there a few times when she was between defenders, but she never gave up. So we're going to give it to Cameron Grant. Outstanding job with a double-double, but you got 4 players that any of them on the Lee team could have captured that honor today. So it is the Flames advancing. And coming up very, very shortly now, you're going to have Tampa and Valdosta State. And that should be a dandy, because these are 2 teams that have played each other in intersectional matchups before. Valdosta State only about at 10 minutes from the Florida line, and Tampa down in Central Florida, one of the outstanding teams in the entire country. They're seeded number 2, but they could easily be one of the top 3 or 4 teams in America, and they've proven it all season long. We're going to have that game for you live at 2:30, so that's going to be, looking at my clock, approximately 39 minutes away. We'll be here about 5 minutes early, about 2:25, so join us then. I'm Steve Beverly, and it is Lee winning at 87-77. Your camera operators today, Billy Boland, Gary Lockhart, and Eris Hollingsworth. And the game was directed by Christopher Reasons, and our executive producer, our ever-cool, ever-present Paul Schultze. And so until we're with you at 2:25, Steve Beverly saying so long from the great hub city of West Tennessee.